Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tara and this is the Planting Bug. And in today's video, we are going to talk about this beauty. This is an Alocasia Frydek. So I have not owned her for very long, but I really want to show you the new plants that I'm bringing into my home, what I'm learning about them, and then I'll take you along the journey when I learn how to propagate these new plants that I'm incorporating and just all the good and bad that I'm learning on them. I just think this plant is gorgeous. I think most alocasias are gorgeous plants, but I'm definitely new to owning them. So let me teach you what I have learned so far about this beautiful plant care tips and all that good stuff. Okay, so this gorgeous plant, a lot of people also call it elephant ears. I just love the bright, dark green, velvety look of these plants. I think they're just absolutely gorgeous. I have owned this plant now for only 2 weeks, but so far she is just looking gorgeous. I got this new pot for her. So it is very important that you be consistent with the care of this plant, especially if you have a smaller one like mine. You really need to pay attention to its care needs and just really give it what it needs. So these plants will thrive with a bright lit room, indirect sunlight. You can even give it a little bit of real full direct sunlight, but it will do fine with morning sun, and just giving it a well lit bright room to be in is what it likes. So if you have this plant like next to a west facing window that gets direct sunlight, you may want to place it back from that window a little bit so it's not getting the bright direct sunlight. But I have mine in a room that has a west facing window, but it is set far back in the room, so it's not directly getting sun. And it really seems to be doing good with that. And also you want to remember to turn your plant towards, from the direction that it's facing towards the sun. As you can see, this plant is doing really well here. You see a lot of foliage is coming out, but when I turn it around, there's not as much happening back here. So if you turn your plant and just don't have it sitting in one direction, you will get more of a fuller plant on all sides. So these plants are from the jungles of Southeast Asia. So they like warm temperatures and high humidity. So if you can try to resemble that type of environment for these plants, that is what they're going to do best in. So you can grow them in your homes. 60 to 80 degrees temperature indoors is great. And then just add humidity in any way that you can. Let me give you a few ideas on how you can do that. First, you can add diffusers in your home or humidifiers. You can also add pebble trays where you add just water inside the pebble tray. That will add humidity. I also place little water jugs around my plants. I will show you here. Okay, so here is one of the shelves that my plants sit on, and just in between each plant or just throughout the shelf, I have these little water jugs. They're very small, and I leave water in it. The tops are open, and then water just slowly evaporates into the room, into the air, and also into your plants, and that also helps with humidity. Then you can also mist your plants occasionally. I would recommend that you do them in the morning hours so that they have enough time to have that water evaporate off the leaves. If you do it at nighttime, the moisture is going to just sit on the leaves all night long, and that can introduce bugs. It can also introduce fungus and mold. So it is best to mist these plants in the morning hours and let that water just evaporate off the leaves throughout the day, but they really enjoy being misted as well. So watering these plants, it's very important to watch and make sure that they don't dry out too much. When you give this a watering, make sure you give it a really, really good soaking, and make sure that the pot that you have the plant in, I still have this in the nursery pot, but make sure it has well draining holes, and that you're giving it a really good watering where all the water is coming out of the bottom. So all the soil's getting very, very wet. Make sure that all that excess water is finished before you go ahead and place it back in your pot. That way you're not accumulating water down at the bottom of the pot, and then you are not having the roots sit in water, because that will cause root rot. So make sure you're giving it a very thorough watering. I probably only water this once a week, but when I do, I make sure that I'm really, really giving it a thorough watering. All the water is well draining out, and then I'm putting it back in the pot once all that water has finished dripping out of the drainage holes. You do not have to repot this until you really see the roots are root bound. They like to be in their pot, especially when you first buy these plants. Really make sure you let it stay in the pot it came in, the nursery pot. Let it acclimate to your home. Let it get used to the area. Don't repot it right when you first get it. That will shock the plant, and it is not good. And like I said, just really allow this to grow and do what it needs to do before you choose to repot it. It is best to repot in the growing season, which is usually spring and summer. But if it does become root bound and you see it's not doing well, you can go ahead and repot it. And then a good rule of thumb is just going up one pot size. Don't get into anything too big. It is just best if you go up one pot size. And yeah, so you don't need to repot this right away. You can really give it time to grow and do what it needs to do. If this plant starts to become yellow, the leaves start to become yellow, that means you are either underwatering it or overwatering it. So you just really need to be careful. Only water this when it needs to be watered. It can dry out a little bit in between waterings, but I usually only water it once a week. And like I said, when I do, I really give it a really good thorough watering. So watch for yellow leaves. If it is getting yellow leaves, it may be a sign that you're underwatering it or overwatering it. So just be careful on both ends. So if this plant goes too long without getting watered, or it's in an area where it's too cold, it can become dormant. So you really, you want to make sure that you have it in an area in your house that it's not getting a cold draft, a cold breeze by your front door, or by your windows. Same goes for the sun. You don't want it to be in a window where it's getting direct sun. It just needs to be in a middle happy area in your home where it's getting indirect good sunlight all day long, and that you're not allowing it to get cold by a doorway or a window. And if you do notice your leaves are turning yellow, you can go ahead and cut them and just allow for new growth to happen. And maybe just change the area that you have it in your house, and just really be careful on not overwatering or underwatering it, and just see what happens. But like I said, I've only owned her for a couple weeks. Right now she looks great, doing well. So I will keep you guys updated on this once I learn how to propagate her. But right now I'm just going to allow her to grow and do her thing. She does not have any new growth on her, and it is December, so I'm not sure when I'm going to see growth on her. But I'm really happy with this plant. I just think it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what it does. And I'll take you guys along the journey as I learn more about her. But I do hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you did and enjoyed it, please remember to give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. I'd love to have you stick around and subscribe and become part of my YouTube family. So hit that red subscription button below, turn on the notification bell so you're notified each and every time I upload. And I'll be back soon with some more plant care, guys. Take care. Have a great week ahead. Bye.